everybody? Welcome to Moment of Clarity. When I'm performing at shows, when I've been out meeting many of you, some people ask me, "Where's Abby Martin? Where's she been?" Now, many of you know that she does an amazing web show called Empire Files, formerly with Telesur. It's awesome. You should check it out. Empire Files on YouTube. But also, Abby Martin, who used to host Breaking the Set, has put out an incredible film, which you have to see. Please, you have to see it. It's called Gaza Fights for Freedom, and it's at GazaFightsForFreedom.com, and it gives the facts of the Gaza fight in a way that I think is just brilliantly done. Mike Preiser also did it with her, and the movie is incredible.
Trapped in this place, which is suffering one of the worst humanitarian crises in the world, you find much more than misery. You find happiness, love, and joy. Yet Gaza is not defined by how it copes with oppression, but by its struggle for freedom.
And just some of the facts. I mean, with the Great March of Return, where tens of thousands of Gazans approached the border fence with Israel unarmed. They had rocks, which, guess what, do not count as being armed with military weaponry. And people are like, they were throwing rocks. Since when is throwing a rock a justification for a fucking death penalty? Okay. That's not a thing. But I'll come back to that stuff in a second. I want to talk a little bit about Gaza, which you'll see in the film if you check out the film. But Gaza, you have to understand, it's an open air prison. People can't leave if they want to, okay? Now imagine just that. Imagine if it were just that. You live somewhere where you're not allowed to leave if you want to. Could you imagine living in that scenario? Most people can't. Most people don't know what it would be like to live somewhere where you fucking can't just walk out. People piss you off, you want to walk away. You should have that right. Much of it is destroyed. It's been bombed mercilessly. By the way, it's 50% children living there. In Gaza, it is 50% under 18. So this is a war on majority children. Like, it's fucking mind-blowing. It's every time you learn something new about what's going on in Gaza, you think it can't possibly be true. Nah, they can't possibly be bombing 50% children, right? That doesn't sound right. I mean, that would just look bad for them on their, politically, it would look bad for them. They would never do that. Yeah, they're doing that. They have electricity in Gaza for roughly 4 hours a day. 4 hours a day. They have electricity. Now, I know it's easy to think like, oh, well, what's okay? So it's they can't play Angry Birds on the thingamajig. No. Electricity obviously surrounds our life. You're watching this now with it. It's everything about everything we do. And it's not just about not having an advanced society. It's like you can't keep meat cold, right? Because refrigeration, if you need electricity, generally speaking, unless they're fucking importing Arctic ice on a daily basis, which something tells me not really happening in the desert in Gaza, where they're not allowed to import most materials, which is why you'll see in the movie, Gaza's been decimated by bombing, and they're not really rebuilding. Why aren't they rebuilding, you might ask? Because they're not allowed to have the materials to fucking rebuild. So you can't, like, it's bombed and it just stays bombed. It stays looking as if it's a war zone even when bombs are not falling. Children, keep that in mind. These are 50% children living there in a war zone, in a bombing zone, only have electricity for 4 hours a day, don't get most of the foods and things that you and I appreciate. Probably never had a pineapple. Who knows? Maybe they have tons of pineapples. I don't know. I was just throwing that out there. But they have very unclean water, and this is not by accident. This is a tactic of Israel to make life nearly impossible. So they are slowly making their water unclean, not allowing them to get clean water, not allowing them to get electricity, not allowing them to get certain foods, medical supplies, not allowing them to get building materials so they can rebuild the society after it's been bombed. It is. It's tough to describe how disgusting it is. And for those of you that are still so very dumb, and I don't think this is many of you, but so very dumb that you conflate criticism of the treatment of Gaza or Palestinians, if you conflate that with anti-Semitism, that's fucked up. You're very fucked up. Okay? Just know that. Just know you're very confused and very fucked up. I am, by the way, in case it fucking matters, I am Jewish by birth, atheist by choice, but, you can be Jewish and understand that children should not be kept in an open-air prison and then shot at periodically, which gets me to the Great March of Return. Oh, actually, I skipped over one other point. Because the medical treatment is so tough to get good medical treatment in Gaza, guess what? If you're diagnosed with breast cancer in Israel, or probably similar numbers in America, although ours are probably worse because our healthcare system sucks, but in regular Israel, if you get diagnosed with breast cancer, you have an 86% chance of living. It's very highly likely that you will live if you're diagnosed with breast cancer. In Gaza, it's 30%. 30% chance of surviving breast cancer in Gaza because of the medical care. Because on top of that, in order to leave Gaza to go to a better hospital to get treatment for all kinds of things, amputated legs, cancer, all of these issues, in order to leave Gaza, you need permission from the Israeli government. And they used to give medical leave permission 90-some% of the time, a decade ago. Now it's down to 54% of the time do they let people fucking leave for medical care. Then there's the crimes of the Great March of Return. So you've got tens of thousands of Palestinians who decided over a year ago actually, to return to the border fence unarmed, and there's been no proof that they had any guns, any bombs, anything. Yes, many had rocks. Okay, some had rocks. God forbid, but you can't fucking, you shouldn't, having a rock is not a death penalty. Okay? And so they approach this fence, and hundreds have been murdered by Israeli snipers, okay? Hundreds. Children, old men and women, fucking journalists have been shot and killed. Nurses. And many of these stories are detailed. Some individual stories, some of the just kind of mass numbers are detailed in the movie Gaza Fights for Freedom at GazaFightsForFreedom.com. And honestly, it's like we are to live in a world where this is considered okay by our corporate media, by our mainstream media, where they're willing to say like, oh, just because it's Israeli state, we're all right with mass murder that is against the Geneva Conventions. Here's the thing, even if the Gazans were literally at war with Israel, with guns, with all that shit, and there was a literal battle, like a real battle, where it wasn't unarmed children up against them, and it was a real battle, still most of these things would be against the Geneva Convention. Shooting nurses and doctors, shooting press, shooting children, unarmed children, all of that shit is against the rules of war if there were a war. So how is it this goes on now and it's fine, according to our mainstream media, which covered the March of Return for about a week? There was a week where they said, oh, this is a little, yeah. I don't know why Israel it seems that a lot of Palestinians ended up killed. How did that happen? They use this terminology. I did a segment on a Redacted Night a while back about how they use terminology where they were like, Palestinians were killed or have died. They act like they don't know who did it, even though it's like fucking sniper fire. They're like, there was Palestinians and there was death. Who knows what? Maybe they tripped. Maybe they fell. Anyway, I could go on and on, but this is why you can be the most pro-Jewish person in the world. You can love your Judaism. You can go to temple every day. And in fact, it makes more sense if you go to temple every day and you're like reading a lot of the things they have there, like the Torah and the such, that says care about people. If you were to do that, you would think, hey, maybe we should care about these other people that we're instead killing with sniper fire. You know, just cuz, just a thought. So yes, you can be the most pro-Jewish, most religious Jewish person in the world. Much of my family is rather Jewish, and some of them understand that the Palestinians should not be treated like that. Most of them do. Some don't. Some don't get it. Some are, I have a friend who made a joke about progressive except on Palestine, POPs. They're progressive. They act like they're progressive. They act like they care about human beings. But when it comes to Palestine, you know, I've thought about the Palestine issue. Yeah, fuck those people. Yeah. It's truly fucked up. But to sum this all up, please go watch this movie. There's a small rental fee because they put tons of money into making this thing look incredible and make it look like a real legitimate Hollywood movie so that people would watch it and take it in and understand the facts of what's going on there. So, go rent this movie, support it. GazaFightsForFreedom.com. Abby Martin does incredible work, as well as Mike Preiser, so keep up with them. Of course, also watch Empire Files. But seriously, go at least watch the trailer. Give it a chance. What do you have to lose? All right. I'll see you soon. Keep fighting.